07 Commanders. So here are my impressions of the Bigscreen Beyond 2 in Elite Dangerous specifically. So I've been playing Elite Dangerous on the Reverb G2 for the last couple of years, and I was looking for replacements since Windows Mixed Reality was, getting deprecated, and I wanted to basically get a nice upgrade also. So I went for the Bigscreen Beyond 2 because it was promising OLED displays that that should work very well for a space setting. That was the big selling point for me. So I was actually quite happy with the G2. I recently upgraded my video card, so I was able to bump up the Steam VR resolution to 150%, and that was a huge quality boost for the Reverb G2. It looks so much better. I was even wondering, do I need something else? But yeah, it's I kind of wanted something that would give me more like what I'm seeing on the 4K screen if I play in 2D. That's one thing that kind of bothered me about the Reverb G2, the kind of 1080p-ish quality, which was improved quite a bit with that display scaling. But I was still looking for more, and for those deep blacks if possible. So after 4 months of waiting, I finally received this Bigscreen Beyond 2. This is the non-eye tracking version. So because they never said they would explicitly support foveated rendering, I just decided to just skip it. And with if you have enough GPU, you don't really need it that much anyway. So I got it about a week ago. This is a week's worth of impressions that I'm gonna try to summarize here. So first of all, the resolution, yeah, it's more of an upgrade than I expected. I'm very happy with how it looks, and this is the reason really why I decided to keep it, despite the drawbacks, which there are some major ones. So let me talk about those in a little bit. So first of all, the resolution, when you use it at 100%, it's an upgrade over the G2 already. So it looks sharper, it's nicer for sure. But when you bump the Steam VR resolution to 150%, you really get like a 4K quality. So if I look at little details like these fonts, for example, it says Mandalay System 2 there in light blue. I don't think I'd be able to read that on a G2. So everything looks so sharp. It's really sharp. I didn't think it would be that good of a resolution bump based on reading the specs. So I think according to the specs, the resolution is just a little bit higher than the G2. I was wondering if that would be like if I would notice that much. But yeah, it's like switching from the Reverb G2 with that 150% scaling. Let's say it's 1440p-ish. This is 4K-like. So if I look at my 4K screen, if I take off the headset and look at it, I see about the same amount of detail as I see inside this headset. So that's really great. The colors, they look great to me. It's not a super bright screen, but when you're inside it, the brightest areas look bright enough. For me, there's no issue with brightness. So I actually started using it at 100% brightness. I've turned it down a bit to 90 now to try to reduce some of the glare, which for me, that's the biggest issue with this headset. And it's a big issue for me anyway. Right now in this kind of evenly lit area, I see hardly any glare. It's actually looking pretty good right now. But if there are some bright spots like stars or something like that, if you see a star against darkness, or if I open the menu, I see these glare spots emanating from any bright screen elements that are in the center or the top of the screens, and they kind of have this like spotlight shining on the bottom of the lens. So these multiple spotlights, and it looks like the lens is dirty or something like that. It's not dirty, of course. I've cleaned it. Those spots actually move. So it's absolutely glare. It's very apparent, and it does bother me in a lot of scenarios. My G2 had a little bit of glare, but I only noticed it after I went back to it. So I was like, oh yeah, there's a little bit of glare there, but it's not nearly as obnoxious. It's different, it's a different kind of lens, so the glare you get is of a different nature. I think my eyes are more sensitive to glare than other people, so everyone probably sees different things. Everyone's eyes are different. People have different prescriptions. Your eyes are actually have different prescriptions on both sides typically. Some people have more astigmatism, so they might get more glare and more issues than others. The fit, they keep telling you, if you ask Bigscreen support, they make sure that you adjust the IPD correctly. So I've adjusted it multiple ways. I've asked my eye doctor what my IPD was even, just to make sure I was measuring it correctly. And I have it set quite right. If I think the image quality and the sharpness varies a lot depending on how well you've put it on, but even just looking at this menu, I see glare spots because there's these white fonts, or this white part of the image where you see your suit there. That creates some glare for me, and I see like little spots. It's like you're looking through a lens. So that kind of, when you're in these space scenes, that kind of gets in the way of enjoying that darkness of the OLED. But again, it depends if you have bright light sources or not. So so that was a disappointment, the glare for sure. All right, let's see here. I always like to do this when I land on a planet, because Frontier didn't give us 3D mode for walking around, and I can actually take out my scanner. Even you can do this, but you can't scan the damn bacteria, so I have to get into this 2D mode to do that. Can you fix that, please? Alright, let's see what we got here.
Bacterium Informem confirmed present. Base value 8.42 million.
8.42 million for bacteria. Well, that's the most
First
probably
partial
I've
sample
ever
collected.
got for bacteria. So another drawback with this headset is the frame rate. Now everyone tells you yeah, the frame rate, it's 75 hertz. This looks just like 90 hertz. It does not. Like, yeah, a lot of the time it does. When you're just flying the spaceship around, it's very smooth. It does appear to be as smooth as 90 hertz. But when I'm panning the view around, or if you're I noticed this most whoa, I can, oh, what's going on here? There's holes in this ship. All right, what I noticed with the frame rate was that when I'm for example targeting some troops that are on the ground, I can see like a double image of fast moving objects. Like if I look at that rock, for example, and I'm just looking around, if I can manage to move smoothly, this works a lot better when you're actually, for example, yawing in the ship. So any small objects, you see kind of like a double image of them when you're rotating. This was also super apparent in Microsoft Flight Simulator when I would pan around my aircraft to get a good look at it. And I'm taxiing and I see these runway lights. Well, there's like double runway lights when you're panning because the frame rate is so low, it kind of does this motion blur when you're panning. So absolutely 90 hertz would be better. I know this supports 90 hertz, but I will not get the benefit of this super high resolution if I enable that mode. I've tried it. Doesn't look as good. I think I prefer
meters from previous sample.
I think I prefer the super high res and just putting up with 75 hertz. Like when you're flying around, it looks okay. I don't know, maybe I'll try it, experiment a bit more. But yeah, it's unfortunate that like if this supported 90 hertz at this resolution, it would be better. I guess the one advantage of 75 hertz is that you don't need as high a frame rate to push it. So I noticed that when I had my Reverb G2 at 150% scaling, it didn't use much less GPU than this at this higher resolution, whatever it is. I think it's like 4300 or 4200 by 4200 at 150% scaling, and you only need to do 75 frames per second here. So you don't need much of a hardware upgrade, or if any, if you're coming from a Reverb G2 to this. Yeah, and if you lower the resolution, then definitely not. Then you'll get, OLED blacks with this lens, with this glaring lens at 90 hertz. But then it's more of a side grade from the G2, I would say. So I guess it is an upgrade comfort-wise, somewhat. Although going back to the G2, some of the things I noticed was that, first of all, it's pretty comfortable. Like it's not the G2 it's bigger, but it's not really much less comfortable than this. The mask on the G2 feels like the cloth mask that touches your face. It feels a little bit more comfortable than the rubber mask on this one, which presses. I don't even adjust the strap very hard. I have it pretty loose, but the rubber against your face doesn't feel as nice as the cloth against your face on the G2. On the other hand, the fan on this does a much better job of managing
over 500 meters from previous sample.
Like sweat or vapor or whatever, or fog, should I say, than how the G2 handles it. Like if I have the windows open on a hot day, it's hot outside, my G2 will get foggy. This, I don't think it gets foggy as easily. The fan does a good job of keeping it clear, but also I noticed that you can hear the fan. Right now I don't hear it when playing. When there's any kind of noise from the game, I don't really, you don't notice the fan. But when everything's quiet, you can hear it. It's like a little high-pitched noise, definitely audible. I did reduce the brightness of this screen to 90%. So now maybe the fan might be working a little less hard. I'm trying to basically get used to playing with a reduced brightness now to kind of try to reduce the glare and to, I guess that would reduce the fan noise as well. And even with reduced brightness, I find that for Elite Dangerous, it's good. Like your eyes get used to it. You kind of, everything is bright enough. When you have something super, very bright. It still looks white. So I don't know if you need to use this 100%. Field of view is great in this. Like going back to Reverb G2, you see, you definitely feel like you're looking through a tube. The colors obviously are far superior on this. So it's OLED colors, you know, everything's uniform. You don't have that LCD look. The blacks, yeah, the blacks are much better. But like I said, everywhere there's black, you also see this glare. So it's kind of like, you know, 2 steps forward, 1 step back with this headset. Or should I say maybe, yeah, there is more than 1 step back with this headset. The frame rate is definitely noticeably worse than on the G2, and the glare. Other thing I noticed on my G2 is that it has better clarity for me. Like when I put on the G2, unless I happen to have a super good fit on the Beyond 2, it just like going back to the G2, everything just felt more clear in the sweet spot. Sweet spot size, I would say they're about the same. Like I know this is supposed to have a bigger sweet spot. Maybe it's technically bigger, but on the G2 it feels, you know, like, I don't know, just everything feels 100% clear in this sweet spot. Here, it's like, either because of the glare, because of the non-uniformity of the lens, stuff looks like 95% clear or 90% clear in the sweet spot, but it's like a bigger sweet spot, and it's sharper, so it's like, yeah, it's like, I wish it was perfect, but it's not. Now, I'm still gonna keep it. This resolution bump is just, it's just much higher. This is what I wanted. I don't think I can go back to a G2 after this, but if you want the perfect headset, there are, like, you should know there are some issues with this. You should not expect it to be, you know, maybe it's not a side grade, but it's definitely not a full upgrade. It is worse in some respects than your G2. So, yeah, I guess one thing I was looking forward to is the Halo mount, which is not available yet, because I wanted to be able to flip this open and look at my Elite spreadsheets if at the same time, or an era, you know, and just look at my 2D screen more easily than doing some VR desktops and stuff like that. But yeah, so maybe if I stick with this headset, I'll probably be trying that out, and hopefully they make it work well. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You can feel free to ask any questions. I'll try to answer as best I can. All right, 07 Commanders.